here we are fishing. Another day in Clear Lake.
Back at it.
Back at it, doing our thing. Did I ever tell you how Old Farts fishing got started? No. You're like, nope.
A few times.
Like only 100 freaking times. Like more. You could probably repeat the story yourself.
But it's been a journey for you, man.
It's been a journey.
You have, I'm impressed.
Yeah. So Old Farts fishing started during COVID. Just a little backstory, so you guys that haven't followed us very long, or you're a new follower and saw all of the big fish we catch now.
Right.
But it wasn't always that way, you know. So back in 2020 when COVID hit, I was starting to get into comedy. I was hanging out a lot with Rudy Gonzalez, and we go to Cellar and Suds, and he said, "Hey man, come do this open mic with me." So I went and did the open mic, and dude, I got hooked. Being up there on stage and trying to make people laugh, it was pretty fun, right? So we started doing that, and then Rudy and I started doing a bunch of stuff together, and started promoting comedy shows. Started making comedy shows, and had a run at that for a while, and I had a few venues that we did. We were doing Calusa out there on the river. What the hell was the name of that place?
Is it Slough House?
Slough House Social.
Yes.
We had a good run there for a while doing comedy, and I never considered myself a good comedian. I make people laugh here and there, and but being a comic is pretty hard. But when COVID came around, it just shut it all down. And I was in the garage one day and saw this fishing rod that I had in there, and I used to do a lot of fishing a long time ago, nothing to the level that we do now, but I'd toy around with it, and had this rod there, and I'm like, man, I should try fishing again. Went out to Johnson's Bait and Tackle, talked to those guys. It'd been so long I forgot how to even fish, or what was what. And Ellis Lake there in Marysville is like 20 minutes from my house, 15 minutes from my house. I'm like, well shit, the lake's right there, the river's right there. You got the Yuba, you got the Feather, you got the Sac River. There's just a lot of water. I'm like, man, I should be fishing. So went and started fishing at Ellis Lake. I was catching a lot of little bass and a few catfish, and I heard people catching big catfish, and I'm like, man, I've never caught a big catfish.
Right.
And the line back there is doing something. I think the boat's moving. Yeah, let's let that thing down until it screams. Let him eat. That's all I say. Let him eat. The wind picked a little bit, but so I started fishing at Ellis Lake and was having a lot of fun. Well, because I run a photography business and was doing a lot of videos, I'm like, man, I wonder if I should start filming this.
Yeah.
So one of my very first fishing videos was at Ellis Lake, catching bass, and then started getting into catfishing, and went to Johnson's. They told me what to do at Ellis Lake, and simple as a freaking hot dog, and put a hot dog on, caught like a 10-pound catfish. I was stoked. I was hooked at that point. So now as I started to get into the catfishing thing, and didn't have a boat, and I'm like, man, it would be cool if I had a boat. And so one of my real estate agents, John Hamilton, had a boat. His dad, they're selling a dad's house, and his dad didn't fish anymore. It was a little Valco boat. It's like a 12-foot boat.
Right, I remember that. Yeah.
No motor, nothing. It was just a boat. It might have had a trolling motor, maybe. No, it had a little motor. It had a little motor. It wasn't running. And so I put a little trolling motor on it, and that was my very first boat. It was like $1,200. I should say $1,200 is what I had into it, because I ended up buying a trailer for it. I went and got a trailer, and there's videos on all of this stuff out there under Old Farts Fishing, but
yeah,
got a little Harbor Freight trailer, made myself a boat trailer, put all that stuff, had it. That thing leaked like a sieve, all those rivets, everything leaked. They had so much Flex Seal on it, it wasn't even funny. But I ran it for a few months and went, I need a bigger boat.
Yeah.
So then I got another real estate agent, Tony Reese, had a boat that he bought and put a lot of money into. It was really nice. I think it was was it a Gregor? McGregor or a Low? It might have even been a Low. I don't even remember. It was an aluminum boat. It's a little bit bigger, a little bit wider.
Yes.
And so we started fishing with that. It had a nice little engine on it, and there was a little tiller handle. But I really wanted a center console boat. So I ran that for a little bit. A few months later, I need a bigger boat. Well, I started making friends and connections with Marine Innovations, because now I had a boat.
Yeah.
So Marine Innovations out there in Hallwood started talking to him. Well, they had this cool little boat. It was a low that came in, old low, but it was a center console. And so I got that boat and started using that. And that one was a fun ride. And then I ran that. So I basically went through 3 boats in a year. And then we got the boat we have now. And so I had 2 boats. And I'm like, what am I going to do with this boat? So what I ended up doing is I raffled the boat off.
Right.
So I did a raffle. We raffled the boat off. And the proceeds from the boat were donated to NorCal Guides Association. So I made a big contribution to them. I think we got like $1,500 or something off the raffle. And we donated all that money to them. And so we did that. And then, through our journey of fishing and meeting people and giving back and making our videos, I started meeting lots of people. And not everybody was what I'd say people you want to hang out with. I went through a few guides that, I'd film with and became friends, and you get to know people. And then once you really get to know people, you start making decisions of kind of the type of people you want to be around.
Right.
Had a few guys that were alcoholics, and a few guys that were in jail, ended up in jail. And so there's a lot of shady people that, I ran across. But it's almost like the journey is I had to go through these people, in a sense, to figure out what I wanted to do and who I wanted to do it with. And that's how I met you. It's through the Old Farts adventure. So I had Ruben, my brother, that would go out with me quite a bit, and you had Adrian that would go out with you, and every once in a while would get Big Mike, with Phoenix Ridge. He'd come out, and then as time progressed and I got the new boat, we found that for whatever reason, Ruben couldn't make it, Adrian couldn't make it, and then so I'm like, hey, why don't you just jump on my boat?
Right.
And so the way I met you before that even happened was on the Feather River. I don't know if you remember that day at the Feather River. I got a video of it. But going down, we used to throw out t-shirts and stickers to everybody. I'd be on my Facebook page. Hey, if you see us, just give a shout out to Old Farts. We'll give you a shirt or a sticker. And so that's how we started growing the page. And here you are with your 2 kids on the boat, and this guy just rolls up, hey, Old Farts. And I'm like, come and get some shirts. And in the process, I think we got our lanes all tangled because we were trolling for salmon back then when we could actually fish for salmon. Yeah. And here I am in the Feather trying to fish for salmon. I have no idea what the hell I'm really doing. I'm just taking stuff I'm told, and I don't think I ever caught a salmon on my own back in that time period. But we hooked up and got to know each other. That's why we started going fishing together, with Ruben and Adrian. And, you had your boat, I had my boat. Yeah. Big Mike went and bought a pontoon boat that we got on a couple times, but, just didn't really go much anywhere with that. But you and I just started fishing and growing the Old Farts brand. We fish every week religiously. Yes. The next Stony Stone channel, the Church of Stony Stone, preaching on the water. Every Sunday religiously we go fishing. But yeah, we started doing this fishing thing and growing it, and getting involved in the catfish tournaments. I said, hey, let's go do a tournament. And so now we've done, I don't know, so many tournaments between the Derby and and mostly at Clear Lake. The Derby, you got the Goodfellas, you got the Catfish Rodeo, you got Kings of Clear Lake, you got the Catfish Bash, which I'm really involved with now. And then we started doing some other, striper tournaments, and sturgeon tournament we did. We actually stayed on the water all night on the boat, which we'll probably never do again. Froze our ass off, even though we got a big old buddy heater, and it just was, I think, in December last year, I think it was. It just froze our butt off.
Yeah,
it was uncomfortable as hell.
Almost hypothermia, man. I mean, it was like wow.
And so we learned a lot. We've been learning a lot, and now we kind of look at where we are today, and I just thought it would be cool to put together a documentary of the Old Farts fishing journey, how it started, where we started, kind of the people we met, and just the good times we have. So many memories. And just kind of see where it goes. And now that I got the documentary called Catfish Wars that we're starting to film here on December 7th, and I got a lot of teams that we've met that are wanting to participate. I know things going chirp chirp, and so we're gonna see what happens with it. I think we got a good storyline there. We're gonna do this Catfish Wars tournament series for next year. I believe there's going to be 5 to 6 tournaments that we will do footage of, put a whole series together. We got about 10 to 11 teams that have said, hey, we want you to follow us through all season. I'm sure some of those will continue through every bash, some won't. We'll get some new players in, some will fall out, some will add, and we'll see where it ends up. So building that hype now for Catfish Wars,
Yeah.
and see what we can do with all the characters. And I say characters loosely.
All aspects of life.
We've got a lot of
everywhere.
characters.
Yeah.
You know, so you figure you got the old farts guys, and with me and Anthony in there, and I don't even know what our character is when you start, you know, putting labels on characters, right? I don't know. You guys tell us what is our brand, what is our label, right? Because I was talking to Keith Foy the other day. Great guy, he's a local out here at Clear Lake, and he is a character in himself, and he'll come through with whatever character he's gonna develop. But I have in my mind, and we'll see it in the video, what character it is. You got Steve Johnson, you guys know, him and I used to run real tight together for a while, and then we had fallen out, and has since kind of patched things up a little bit for the cause of, you know, Catfish Wars, and you know, we both love fishing, and you know, it's just, you know, we're men, we're not kids. Let's just get the shit behind us and let's just fish. And so, you know, that's taken a new direction, which is good. And I think he's going to be a big part of Catfish Wars, rightfully so, only because I think he is a big part of why a lot of us do this out here, is the knowledge that he shared and passed on, and you know, let's just build on that. And
yeah.
What do you
If you're fishing Northern California and any of the catfish scenes, you probably heard of his name.
Okay. He fishes some, you know, stuff back or Texas, you know, that area. He's trying to run that pro circuit and take it serious. So definitely got to give him props for, you know, doing that.
Yeah.
Not something I don't know. It might be something we look at doing at some point, just to say we did it, right? Is take 1 year, and you know, when we can both get some time off from our businesses and take a week or two to go fishing. That would be like amazing.
Yeah.
So it's not out of the realm of the possibility, and that could be part of the Old Farts fishing journey, right? As we're doing the Catfish Bash series, and we're making a video documentary on that, and it could lead to, you know, watch these guys as they go battle the big boys in the pro circuit and see how Old Farts fishing, you know, we may get our asses handed to us, but it's the experience. You can't take that away from us. So yeah, I got that going on, and yeah, so we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
We're building followers. Our YouTube page finally hit over 1,000 subscribers, which, you know, to a lot of people isn't a lot, but to me, a lot. I definitely appreciate the support, and Facebook page is, you know, 2,500 followers. Again, not huge, but getting there, and just making content, bringing people like, why do you do this, right? Why? My wife's like, why do you do this? I got ADHD or something when it comes to stuff, but you know, I do it because I like bringing attention to the sport of fishing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I say sport loosely. Everybody says, "Oh, it's a sport." I don't know. When you're sitting on your ass doing nothing, it's hard for me to call it a sport. But but it's fun. It's fun. It's a hobby. I don't know.
So to clear things up, Stoney, are you predominantly catch and release? Do you what is your take on that? What is your?
So for me personally, to be honest, when I started fishing, I don't even like fish. I don't like to eat fish.
Right.
I tolerate it. I'll have a little bit, so I've learned to like it. So for me, I do a lot of catch and release.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of money to catch a lot of fish just to throw them back. It's kind of like that tug is the drug. You know, when you get those big takedowns and it's fun, right? And you're fighting the fish, and you know, and then you throw them back and go catch them again. It's just, you know, if I ate fish, it would be a different story.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll keep the striper because, you know, I'll eat striper. Salmon, you know, 1 or 2 a year maybe.
When it's open, yeah.
When it's open. We went to Oregon with Kevin Brock.
Right.
There's another storyline there with Kevin Brock. I've been partnering with Kevin on a lot of his stuff. I'm helping him grow what he's doing, and a lot to come out on that here shortly with Kevin, but doing a lot of filming. We'll be doing a lot of trips with Kevin to grab footage, and we went to Oregon with him for salmon and got some great footage for Kevin. And still building relationships. But
Yeah, that's another one of your connections that you made through your channel.
Yeah.
And
The funny thing with Kevin is, it's funny, is I talked to him at Johnson's Bait and Tackle at one of their events, and I knew who Kevin Brock was. I heard stories, you know, he's a famous guy. I want to say famous, very well known guy.
Legend in this sport.
Legend.
Yeah.
Been doing it forever, and had 5 or 6 guys working for him at one point, and then he got really, really sick and almost died. And he's still struggling through some health issues, and I'm just inspired by him. There was some reason why we got together, call it faith, call it the Lord, whatever you believe in, but our paths did cross. I had to go through a lot of different people to kind of figure things out, and I think I've found what the right connection, which is Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a lot going on now. Kevin's got a lot he's got going on. I spend a lot of time with him on the phone and in person, and just his story is amazing. His drive is very inspiring. That knowing what's going on with him personally and how he still pushes through it's just great. Yeah. Especially as my wife got cancer, and we had to take a little bit of a break. Still tried to keep things going, but dealt for that for the last year or so, and Kevin going through his struggles as well, just kind of put everything in perspective. But yeah, doing a lot of that stuff, and just meeting people, having a great time, creating memories.
Yeah, we all come together through fishing.
Right.
Seems like we have a common goal. So for your viewers, 90 to 95% of your fish are released.
Really?
So you're
for us, or for
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, most of our fish are catch and release.
And are you against people taking their take? And
no, I mean that's why they put
the legal limits.
That's why they put limits, right?
Yeah.
So you don't take advantage of the resources, and like catfish, there is no limit on catfish at Clear Lake.
Right.
It's a ton. Now there are other lakes that have limits on fish for a reason, so you don't overfish them. You don't take advantage of your resources.
Yeah.
But if there's no limit and you're catch 30 fish and you take 30 fish home, if you're feeding your family, you're having I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
It's a free country, do it. But what I don't like is the waste, where people will go catch down fish and throw it away, or kill it for no reason and just throw it back in the water. It's like that, to me, is uncalled for.
I've seen some people, they clean them, they get them home, they clean them, they put them in the freezer, have 1 or 2 pieces of fish, and then the rest they just kind of waste, and a year goes by and they throw it out.
Yeah.
So,
and I've been guilty of that myself, only because I don't like fish. Oh yeah, I'm gonna eat it, and then a year later it's still there, and I'm like, oh man, I shouldn't have kept it. So now I'm a little more conscious of that.
Yeah.
Is I kind of take inventory of what fish I have, and if I already have fish in the freezer, why am I keeping more fish? There's times I'll keep fish to give to neighbors because they like fish, and I'm not gonna give them the old fish that's been frozen. I'll give them fresh fish that we just caught.
So it's like a small percentage of fish.
Yeah. We try to be responsible. But yeah, it's been a journey. It's been a ride. I appreciate the followers we're getting. I'm really big now into the social media, influencing, reaching people. It's just an easy way to reach so many people on a different level. People you'd never ever meet or run into. I look at the analytics on the page. We got people from other states, other countries that follow us. It's just kind of amazing the reach we have. It's not a gigantic reach. We're not in the millions of viewers. Maybe someday, we'll get pretty well known. We'll be in the realms of Jeremy Wade and White Row, or get known. But if that happens, great. If not, shit, I'm happy sitting here on Clear Lake doing our thing that we do.
Yes. And there is specific species to our area and to our region. We don't have blue catfish.
Right.
So you don't see us holding those shoulder size fish that they're carrying around.
We just don't have them here.
We don't.
But doesn't mean we can't go to them.
Right.
So that's a goal, right? When Anthony and I retire from our businesses, or our businesses are running, because we're to a point now where we have people working for us, and we just run a business, and we'll just take off and let's go try these big old lakes. Marlin fishing. I want to do some marlin fishing.
We're coming for you. We're coming for you.
We're coming. But yeah, it's some good times out here. We're gonna get on some fish today. My phone's blowing up. I got people texting, calling, all kinds of shit. So anyway, it's a little spiel about Old Farts Fishing, how it got started. Hope you guys tune into Catfish Wars and see the visual of everything we just talked about. But we'll put this storyline together, and it's not only a little bit about what happened in the past that got us to where we are, but it's a journey of where we're going. the
Yes.
people we meet. You know, it's through the eyes of the Old Farts fishing team. When we get into the Catfish Wars thing, you got a lot of, you know, great teams, and um, you know, I can go through a few of them. You know, like Team Sippy Cup from down south comes up. They're definitely saying they want to be a part of it. You've got Steve Johnson, you know, who could not be a part of it. He had to be a part of it. He's a big player in that scene.
Right.
Two Birds, him and his wife, you know, fish. They're out there doing their thing. You got a lot of new teams. Darren's got standard issue fishing team.
Yeah.
Sift, they're you know, become friends with them,
And they're moving up fast along the line.
they keep beating us. What the hell? These new guys coming in, and you know, we haven't performed well in the last few tournaments, you know, but it's up and down. I'm hoping that this next one we do well. But you got Happy Hookers, new team. Keith Roy's got his Guess Who team going on. There's a few other guys who haven't committed to do it yet, but we'll see where it goes.
We got some bass fishermen that
the Bass
switched
Lane,
over.
yeah, Bass Lane, bangers.
Very professional.
Steve, very professional, very come in clean. He has clean cut, so you go from just a visual. I'm not gonna, let you put a light on it, but you go from Keith to Bass Lane bangers, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
You got everybody.
We got the gamut of everybody, all walks of life, you know, from, you know, money to no money to just having a good time. And the one thing that brings us all together is what?
Fishing.
Is fishing, and primarily catfishing, right? Catfishing in California does not have the stigma that bass fishing does.
Right.
A lot of big bass boats, a lot of big money, a lot of big tournaments. The catfish tournament scene out here is trying. You know, there's a lot of effort and a lot of people trying to do things. And the Catfish Bash with Jake, you know, I'm tied at the hip with Jake on that. He's the tournament director for that. Jake, I think, has got it right. We're not trying to be the 2-day big tournament.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to do, and we have done, you know, we're going on year 2, maybe year 3 of the Catfish Bash, 1-day tournament. I like to call it Dash for the Cash. And it's just a fun get together, introductory to catfishing, and a lot of great teams. And it's just, you're in, you're out 1 day, and it's a lot of fun. And so we're still doing that, and we hope that's going to grow. And that's the backdrop for Catfish Wars, is following the teams that are doing the bash.
Yes.
And we'll see where that goes. And then from there, we'll just continue to every year, hopefully come up with another series, and hopefully Netflix or Discovery or Hulu or somebody will pick this up and say, hey, we want to make this a series, and we'll get into contract, and before you know it, you'll be seeing us on the big screen.
Yeah.
Or not. Most likely it'll just be YouTube.
I find it interesting.
It's interesting.
I find it very interesting.
The thing is, you got to try, right? It's like people are like, why do you do this? I'm like, because it's fun. You know, I'm gonna throw it out there. We're gonna do it. We're gonna see what happens. And if it brings attention to the sport of catfishing, and people get into it. And the other big thing about me that if you don't know by now is I'm huge on small business. I love supporting small business.
I was just going to say that. Yep.
You know, Anthony's a small business owner. Most of the friends and the people I hang out with are small business owners of some sort, entrepreneurial. But Hook 'em Big Rods, you know, again, I've said it in a few of my other videos, like the Snag 'em and Bag 'em products, the Hook 'em Big Rod, the Kevin Brock, the Amazing Fishing, you know, people that are, you know, giving us product to test, to try, to, you know, give them feedback. All of that goes into small business. And that's what I like doing. And that's why I use the gear and the stuff that I use, because it is small business. Guys trying to hustle, trying to do something for themselves. And just like I did. You know, I retired at 49. Or I like to say I retired at 49, but reality is I got laid off at 49. At 49, high-tech companies said, we don't need you anymore. You know, and that was basically it. It wasn't a performance thing. It was like, your services are no longer required. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
Right.
I've been doing this for 16, you know, at the same company 16 years, but I was doing a lot of high tech, you know, had value, but, you know, it's really a shock to your ego when you're 49 years old and they decide, oh, we don't need you anymore. I mean, talk about a blow. You're just like, well, what do you mean you don't need me anymore? And, you know, I was pretty upset for a while, but then that sparked a fire in me to be entrepreneurial, to start my photography business, to start Blue Dream Productions, to do what I do now. And now it's like, I'm busier now than I ever was before. The difference is I'm busy for me, for my family. supporting other businesses as opposed to working for some big corporate firm, making them a ton of money. And yeah, you get some money too, but I make just as much now that I did then.
Right.
But the difference is it's for me.
And you got more freedom.
I got a lot of freedom to be here with you and do what we do and make my content. And just the work-life balance is hugely different. And hindsight is I've been told this, but until you live it, is if you take what you enjoyed doing and turning it into a business, you never work a day in your life.
Right.
So whatever it is you enjoy doing, whether it's photography or fishing, or if you're like a guide and you turn to a business, or any of that stuff, take your passion, turn it into a business, and you will be so happy, because you're not working for the man, you're working for yourself, and you do what you love to do.
No longer a wage slave.
A wage slave, yes. Yeah. So anyway, it's 8:20. Been here an hour and a half with one fish. I'm thinking we need to move.
I keep seeing these big ones come across the
I know.
craft. I'm like, I don't know.
But I don't want to drag yet. I want to still anchor.
Yeah.
I think I want to go try that deep water. And we're going to give it till another half hour.
Okay.
Because it'll be 2 hours of sitting. I'm going to go sit one more place. And then I'm going to go drag. See what happens. I'm seeing a little more activity on the water. I'm seeing a few more boats come out. We're the only ones to get out here and freeze our ass off in the dark, and now here we are. But anyway, a little commentary. I don't know if I'll use this footage, but we might. But thanks for watching Old Farts Fishing. A little bit about what's going on with the documentary and Catfish Wars. And I know I just rambled, and Anthony just sat here and said, yes, yes, yes. What do you think?
I love it. I love it. It's good. I believe in it.
Believe it. It's funny, as Anthony used to be really, really, really camera shy. I couldn't get him to say anything, do anything. He would just sit there, get all quiet when he get on a fish, and for his own business page, you hardly saw any videos or anything. And now he's going live 2 or 3 times a day, or on his job and promoting his business. And I think I created a monster. But he's doing exactly what he should be doing. He's promoting himself, and glad to have him on the boat with me. And it's been an amazing friendship. And I can't wait to have us truly become old farts.
It helps being around excellent company.
Excellent.
Odie,
you hear that?
you feed off of who you hang around with,
Well, there's so much truth to it. Oh, look. I say, Odie, here he comes. Is right. You got to surround yourself with the positive people. And that goes back to what I was saying, where I've run through so many people, right? Yes. Is you've got to find the people that are going to help you grow, develop, learn. And it's got to be a two-way thing, not a one. I saw a lot of the guys that I was hanging out with, it was very one-sided. They were they start out with, we want to help you, and then it just turned out to be different.
Right.
And it's not bad. I'm not, slamming, just we went through a lot of people and found the people we're going to resonate with, like you. I had no idea this was going to turn into what it turned into. And here we are. So, thanks for watching, liking, subscribing, Old Farts Fishing. We're going to go get on some fish now. I'll make a move. See ya. Thanks for watching. Okay, that was fun.
Yeah, good stuff.
Tired of talking. The rest of this time I was like, I'm not talking anymore. My ass is on fire from this heater.